What would dumb say? Are we taking tomorrow off?
You, Steph, Dre, and Clay.
No clue. Do what Master say. It probably was the wrong time to express myself, but that's, we all have our own opinions, we all have our own feelings, and I feel like we are entitled to them. It's just when you try to pick and choose the time to do it, and we choose to share with. I have a great relationship with Steve Kerr, and he knows that. And he spoke to you guys about it, you know what I mean? But even his words still may not be, someone still may not believe him. But he and I are in a great place. We don't even have to speak about it because he knew that in no way, shape, or form was I talking about him.
That was Andre Iguodala explaining his post-game comments you just heard, where he used the N-word multiple times. Iguodala was fined $10,000 by the NBA for what the league called inappropriate comment. Stephen A., do you agree with how the NBA decided to handle this?
No, I do not. I thought the fine should have been a bit stiffer, maybe $25,000. Keep in mind that Steve Kerr has paid $50,000 in fines this season. On 2 occasions, $25,000 fines he incurred because of verbal abuse of game officials. I think in one instance, Paul George was fined $15,000 for kicking the game ball. And so when you look at it from that perspective, you just say to yourself, excuse me, you're talking about protecting officials, but you're also talking about the integrity of the game. And you're talking about what's in the best interest of the game. Why? Because when you question game officials and you're abusive verbally towards them, what happens is it brings into question their competency at the job. And in some situations where, more incendiary comments are thought about or made, you're thinking along the lines of what their intent is. Well, it transfers to the players to some degree in this respect. When you echo those words, when you appear to be taking a shot at your coach, when you appear to be taking that kind of shot at the league, and you invoke words like master and slavery and all of this other stuff, the fact of the matter is that impugns the integrity of the National Basketball Association. And as a participant and employee of the league, it is perfectly within their right to take a stand and to say, wait a minute, we did not warrant that. We did not deserve that. You really crossed the line. Let's also remember that Kobe Bryant in the past, because he, the homosexual community, the gay community, I'm sorry, were up in arms because Kobe Bryant said something about a game official when a game official didn't give him a call he felt that he deserved. Kobe Bryant incurred a $100,000 fine. And so when you look at it from that perspective, clearly the NBA is saying we're going to protect our league at all costs. This is a form of protection. Players like Andre Iguodala getting paid $11.1 million, playing in this league voluntarily, never forced to, understanding the obligations that come along with it. There's a certain manner in which you're supposed to conduct yourself, and there's certain verbiage you have a responsibility to avoid. The fact that he did not do that and only gets a $10,000 fine, which is the equivalent of a penny to a dollar based on his salary, doesn't seem to be sending the right kind of message publicly. I thought the fine should have been stiffer.
I don't think this goes to the integrity of the game. I don't think the NBA does either, and that's why it's a $10,000 fine. I have no problem with the fine, really, and I don't mind what Iguodala did. He didn't apologize, actually, for him using the word. He apologized for the context in which he used it, for the place in which he used it. Really, what he's guilty of is using controversial adult language in a place that's supposed to be suitable for a general audience. $10,000 sounds about right to me for that. I mean, I don't know, but you bring up Kobe Bryant's $100,000 fine. That was by using a slur against a persecuted minority of which he is not a member, and didn't use it ironically the way Iguodala did to make a point, used it as an insult. I understand the difference there. I think Kobe does too. And I think the NBA got this right. We can quibble about whether it should have been 10 or 25 and how much of a difference that really makes to the player. But I accept exactly what Iguodala just said. He also said it had nothing to do with Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr, from his remarks after the fact, but before Iguodala made this comment, also seems to have said that he didn't take it personally as though it was directed toward him. And if it went to the integrity of the game, which I don't see exactly how it does, the league would have given a stiffer than $10,000 penalty here, I think, Stephen. I think they got it about right.
Well, listen, like you're right. It is quibbling because what difference does it make whether it's $10,000 or $25,000? So in that regard, you're absolutely right. What I would say is that again, when you are a black man and you hear, if you're listening to me and you hear the words race or racism invoked and slavery and things of that nature, all I can say is that people, it needs to count. It needs to be something that you can attach to it and say, that's legitimate. That's significant. And so when you're Andre Iguodala, as smart as he is, as accomplished as he is, as thoughtful as he is, and you make those comments, and yeah, it may have been misconstrued as being a shot at Steve Kerr, but that was his fault, not mine or anybody else's, because of the context in which he used it and the time and place in which he chose to make those statements. He could have also been talking about the NBA because of their scheduling. Well, like Mark Cuban and others have pointed out to these players on many, many occasions. You know what? You don't just walk into an arena and play the game. First of all, the arena has to be available. It's used for other venues. It's used as a venue for other activities, other things that are other events that take place. The lights have to be paid. Other folks have to be concessions and beyond maintenance works. Everybody. It's more that goes into it. I'm quite sure that NBA will address this by extending the season. But if they had their druthers and there was a way to make a schedule for 30 teams in the NBA where guys could get their rest and still play, I'm quite sure that the NBA would do it. So it's not that easy. It's not something that's simple. And it would be nice if players would take that into consideration and consider the jobs, the obligations, the responsibilities, others on a lesser level than them, but just as significant to the games being played, actually playing all of this rather than just thinking about themselves when they make those kind of statements.
Stephen A., I want to stay with the Warriors, but get to another topic here. So Steph Curry might have led all scorers with 29 points on